So hello, this is Frederick Dunn, and I'm going to share with you some of my ideas, my in-process ideas, working this out. This is the insulated Be Smart Designs inner cover, which came out in 2021. It adapts to 8 or 10 frame boxes. It's plastic, and it has these little tabs on it that will align. If you're going to put this on a flow hive, you're going to have to chip these tabs off, and I just take a wood chisel and knock them right off on one side and let the other side anchor it. Also, it has a central riser here and a hole so you can have vented or unvented. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to mess this one up. That's right. I'm going to try out my own ideas on it. I'm going to do my own modifications. And there's the hole for those who want an upper entrance or an upper vent. And now the new ones, of course, don't even have that hole directly under that mouse-looking entrance. It's very small. Be Smart Designs, of course, this is the key to it. An insulated insert that's an R10 with a channel so you can have that upper entrance, which you all may know I don't use upper entrances anymore. So we use the option where we flip this channel in the opposite direction, and then I'm going to also show you how I'm going to add insulation to this inner cover by putting a medium super on it. But I want to share with you these divots here are for the Be Smart Design products, so things like mouse guards, the clips so that you can have a vent through the top, a storage space, a place for the cap. It also has a place for the Be Smart Designs robbing screen right there, so you can have an all-in-one location to keep all these tools and resources for your beehive, but I'm about to ruin that on this one. These are what the clips look like for people that want an upper entrance. You pull these clips out, they're stored here in this little divot. They clip on the edges and they create a tiny vent space for those of you who are in high humid, high heat areas and you just have to have upper venting. I don't. I'm in the northeastern United States and it's cold here and I don't have problems with venting through a normal entrance. This is the cap that comes with it, little reservoir there to store it when not in use. And then that little cap goes right on top of the central opening here, and there you have it, 1.5-inch diameter hole. So a lot of questions come my way, and one of them is this really contoured so that condensation, if it forms on the underside of this insulated inner cover, would it actually drip out to the edges? Well, yeah, so let's get a straight edge here, and I'm going to get a deep frame. We're going to use the back of that as our reference. Bridge that across there, and it does dome. So it goes to about 3/16, I'm thinking. Just a little over that. So now condensation, if it formed underneath, but the whole purpose of this is to prevent condensation from forming. So it's domed. If condensation formed, it would then trickle along to the outside edges and not down on the bee cluster, so that's a good design. The other thing is when you flip this thing over and you put a box on it, there's gaps around the edges. That's what I'm going to show you today. Look at this. So we have a medium super on it. And now we have open airflow here. Now I get it. The designer says that if air flowed through there, it wouldn't really matter because it's above that insulated insert. But I don't like the air to flow through this freely because I'm putting a rapid round feeder on there. And I don't want that feeder to be cold. I don't want to have condensation form inside the feeder. So I'm going to show you what we're doing. We're switching this around and we're not going to have the upper entrance. So we're going to put the insert in here. And of course I'm going to do this craft work on the kitchen table because my wife's not home and I need the light from this big window right here. So now you can see this is well designed. I mean, I understand. We want to put all the parts in here. If you had a Be Smart Designs bottom board and you had the mouse guards and the vent controls and all that entrance guards, it would be handy to have it all up here. But I'm about to ruin all of that. Here's a rapid round feeder, which is my favorite design because I can do dry feed in winter and I can do liquid feed in spring on colonies that need it. And then of course there's the inner cover that we use when we put the syrup in. Take that off. And of course the Apis company Rocket Hardware used to sell these. It has a domed cover there, but this is the configuration we would have in winter. There would be dry feed in there and condensation could come up, hit the interior surface of that, and of course that condensation drips down onto the dry sugar you have in there, and that makes a sugar block. But I was thinking maybe warm air would rise up through there and we could insulate that shim. So we could insulate that. I need to make a mold release, and I'm going to use cling wrap for that. This is a great stuff, big gap filler, up to 3 inches it says. That's what I'm going to use to put inside and make my own modification here. That's what I'm sharing with you, a work in progress, by the way. So if you jump on this right now and you start doing things like this, the jury's out. I'm just fooling around. And of course, I'm going to have insulated inner covers as designed out in the apiary, and I'm also going to have this new insulated version. And I'm even going to modify this because I learned some things doing this test, so I'm just sharing with you my process. So we put that on there, center it up, cover the hole, because I'm going to use Great Stuff expansion foam. We want to also use that expansion foam to make a space around this rapid round feeder. So get it all centered too, because you're not going to be able to move this around once it gets started. And this is the point of no return, by the way. So we're going to put a 5-pound weight on here. That's right. I can bench press 5 pounds. This comes from my own bench press kit. Now, I got to preserve this barnwood table because, I mean, my wife could come home at any time and ask me what I'm doing, and I want to definitely have made strides in protecting the table, and that's newsprint, the same stuff we use when combining honeybee colonies. So I have it handy. Let's get this all set up here. I think she's out shopping, so she won't care. It's for YouTube. So we are, plates in place, that alignment's critical, and now of course follow all the rules. 60 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, we're at 69, roughly 70 degrees in this room, so we're good. Also, you're going to want to wear plastic gloves, protect your eyes, all that good stuff. I have to say it, and because some people will say you didn't warn us about that, I got it all over my clothes. Don't wear your best outfit, wear gloves. And protective eyewear. There, I said it. Look at this. Came through shipping all bent up like that. Still works. I shook this for over 60 seconds. I think 60 seconds is what they recommend. So I'm going to start off filling these gaps. Like I said, point of no return. We're ruining the functionality of the insert. In other words, now you can't put all your robbing screens, your entrance guards, your mouse reducers, and things like that. Can't put those in here anymore, but I'm going to get more than an R10 now. And we're going to fill all that, even the handholds, because the handholds on the ends were used so that we could pull that insert out. So after this process is done, we won't be able to pull the insert out at all. In fact, we're about to marry the medium super box to the Be Smart Designs insulated inner cover. And I'm also going to build it up here on the side walls. The other thing I should have done, see, I'm learning as I go. I should spritz this lightly with water because the water speeds the cure and also makes it adhere better to surfaces like wood. And of course we have the cling wrap around the rapid round feeder, so that's our mold release. And the other thing I would do is I think I would spray bigger beads in here. Like I'm running these little 1-inch, 3/4 inch. I should slow it down in the future and put bigger beads. So we're just creating the space, and I'm going to take it right up to the edges, and I'm going to let the foam expand above the sidewalls of the medium cover. Look, almost like time lapse there. Now we're several hours in. It's tacked. You know, you can touch it and it doesn't stick, but it's still foamy and still has give to it. So we're going to wait. Now the manufacturer recommends 8 hours. Now I have this hot wire foam factory foam cutter thing that I got when my daughter was getting married 9 years ago, and I had to make a water feature for her wedding cake, of course, which I made out of styrofoam and made it look like a mountain with a bridge and all that stuff. And that's just been laying around. But look, now we are 8 hours in. Look how hard it is. So that stuff's pretty good. And look, the rapid round didn't move. So we're in business here. And see how it expanded up across above these edges. Now I'm just going to take this hot wire. Now you don't need a hot wire. I just had it, so I decided to use it. Why not? But you can take a serrated edge knife, which is what they recommend on the package here. You could use other hot wires. There's hot knives and all these other things available for making these cuts, but this is kind of like a free-form sculpture tool. Let the wire heat up and let it do the work so you don't force it through the foam. And then we'll just pull these pieces off. Look how cool that works. How easy is that? And the more air that's locked in the form, of course, that becomes the insulating properties of the foam. So that's not terrible. I like it. We're going to do all of the corners, of course. Now the lesson learned. What is it with the foam? Well, first of all, 8 hours is not long enough. And I'm going to show you that in a few minutes here. Because what happens is, sure, the foam expands during the set period. But then after more than a day, the foam starts to contract again, which works in our favor for the structural rigidity of our insulated feeder shim now. Because what that did is it actually expanded and pushed away at the bottom there. So the insulated BeSmart Designs insulated inner cover there actually got pushed away from the bottom of the box here because I didn't weight the box. But it contracted again over the next couple of days and drew the wooden box down snug against the plastic frame of the insulated inner cover. So it actually was a benefit if you're just patient. So if you're doing something like this, don't think you're going to let it cure for 8 hours, then jump right in and go to work and put this thing in service. The other thing is you don't want to put this expansion foam in direct contact with your bees. The bees will chew it. My chickens even eat this stuff. It's not good for them. So the Wrap It Around feeder provides that barrier. So that's a good thing. So we got a nice clean cut here. Now we're equal with the surface. In fact, I contoured it down just a little bit. In the future, I probably would cut it flush. More insulation is better. I also have some low spots there. So there are some uninsulated areas. So we just get this cut off. Now this is better, by the way, than putting pine shavings or something like that in there because it won't take on moisture the way those things can. So here we go. And it added rigidity to the box. Now there it is, 72 hours after curing. Look how it contracted again. So you can see where I cut it, where it was nice and smooth before. Now it's concave. The other thing that strikes me is why on earth did I use a medium super in here when I could have used a shallow super? So I highly recommend getting a shallow super or cut down your medium supers. And look also, it expanded and deformed the Wrap It Around feeder for a day there, but then it contracted again, as I said, and now the Wrap It Around feeder fits easily and doesn't have any of that foam pressing up against it, but it does serve as a placeholder. The areas underneath the foam needed to be cut away a little bit underneath the Wrap It Around so it would sit snug. We don't want a big gap under there either. So now we've got an insulated bottom around the Wrap It Around feeder. We've got insulated sidewalls. We've got no airflow going through there. We've got the domed cover to handle condensation if it does come in through there. But we're also going to see if this helps to maybe provide them more access to the dry sugar during winter if this area can be warmed by the bees. So we know that before with free airflow, that feed would be the same temperature as the outside temperature. And we've also, look how it drew up nice and snug against that. The foam did not expand beyond the edges, which was interesting to me. And we've got a really rigid insulated inner cover now. And I would probably need to close up this hole a little bit. I don't know what I would use. Maybe I could use hot glue, put a piece of wood over that. We don't need bees trying to get through there. Some people have reported that some of their bees chewed parts of the insulation insert on these insulated inner covers. So I would cover those holes if you know for sure you're never going to use that top venting. So then we put a BeeMax insulated outer cover on it. Now we've got a closed up space with no airflow in it and the potential for the bees to warm what's in that Wrap It Around and have access to that in wintertime. So use a shallow super instead of a medium or cut your mediums down if they're old. Thanks for watching. Let me know what your ideas are. We're going to see how this works and we're going to compare it. Those with this insulated portion and those that just have the insulated BeSmart Designs inner covers on them alone. Thanks for watching.